Eldar Buchris, I'm the CEO of VFR, VFR AI, basically. So VFR, we specialize on the CTV market. The company was founded 4 years ago with the mission to, I would say, really break the CTV market, to understand the CTV market. We focus on CTV market on day one. We pretty heavy technology company, but also creating our content. Starting from last year or so, we became our own publisher. We have more than 100 different channels on different CTV platforms, a lot of casual, hyper casual, kids content, and we put a lot of focus in that. We had a couple of funding rounds, the last one of about 10 million 5 months ago. We're based in Tel Aviv, Israel. We're about 20 people here and 20 people offshore. And this is in a nutshell.
Okay, so that's very exciting. So you're saying you have several channels on CCTV. So what is that, like YouTube channels? Where are those?
So it's interesting to know, but there are a lot of, so the CTV platform right now is very similar to the App Store that you know on mobile. For example, you can explore very different type of content. You can see very different type of content. You know, the famous one, of course, you watch on TV, which is, you can also do in mobile, like, you know, Netflix, Hulu, and all the rest. But you also know there are a lot of different type of content. We create what you call more casual and hyper casual. We have different type of games such as bingo, you know, cards game.
Beautiful place full of green. The air and environment are sparkling clean. A little long-eared hare lives there. His name is Easton.
Catalog, you can call it, and people really consume a lot of time on the TV. Most of the time spent, of course, on Netflix, but few hours of the day they consume other different type of content. And as you know, a lot of people moving from subscription type of services to more you know, advertisement VODs or advertisement or fast channels or different type that based on advertisement. And most of our channels are based on ads. And you can see different type of channels on different platforms from our publishing house.
So how would people how many people have signed up for it, and how do they view it? So it's not on YouTube, you're saying it's a different streaming services, direct?
Yes, exactly. Like, so the CTV market basically had a few big platforms such as Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and all the TV manufacturer, like, you know, LG, Samsung, and have their own operating system. The operating system is basically, you can call it like an app store. If you go into Roku, so it's just basically an app store. You have, like, you know, thousands of different apps from different types, from any type of content you would like to consume, you can find there.
So if you're on Roku, then they have what, 100 million potential customers or more, right? And so
households,
households. So it's kind of like they're the cable provider, and then you're a channel that people can select and opt into, right?
Correct.
So how many? And so you have 100 different versions, some for children, some for whatever. And so about how many have signed up, and what's your most popular channel?
So we have, I would say a few 100,000 a day, daily active users in our channels, a few millions a month. The monthly active users. Our most famous one, our kid content is creating a lot of attention, and we also have some different casual games that have a lot of users spending I would say half an hour a day on average on different type of content. You know, so basically it's just the time between you finish your Netflix series before you want to go to bed or something, and you still want to stay on the TV, so you just spend the time there.
So it's advertising supported, and how does the AI play into it? How does the AI make this some more efficient? Is it in the content creation, or is it
also in the content creation? Also, we also have our monetization solution, which is more based on an AI, like optimization between the supply and demand like we have our own system that's trying to match between the right demand to the right supply. And this is basically a level they're trying to find the right match of the ads to the users and to the and what the demand looks for. So we did a lot of machine learning and we basically review all the our history databases and so on and so forth to try to optimize the basically the ad serving.
And then so you're a global company, so then you'd have multiple languages and stuff like that? Do you have like so
yeah, so it's a great question. Right now most of our content is in English because most of the CTV platform are pretty huge in the US.
Right.
I would say 80 something% of our users are US based. But as I guess also the CTV it's very familiar in the US, and it's basically like 80 something% of, even more, in 90% of households they have at least CTV device. But right now all of the company, all the platform trying to expand out of the US. Right now Roku put a lot of effort of Latin America, Central America. So right now we're exploring ways to create content in different language. Maybe in Spanish, maybe in other language, because the user base is expanding, and yeah.
So 100 channels, that's a lot of channels. So you're generating a lot of content. So can you talk a bit about the economic model for that?
Right.
Because many of the companies, Netflix and stuff, are more content limited, right? Or it costs a huge amount of money for them to make content. So how does that differ for you?
So I'm not doing my own production, right? I'm not like Netflix that I spend a lot of time and money to create my own content. Like Netflix is the high end of content. I'm more providing casual content. It can be streaming or third party providers that we collaborate to create their own TV content, or we created our own animation show. So it's more, I would say, casual content than a TV series of 20 episodes or something like that. Which this is the very very heavy cost on the CTV provider, basically on the platform itself. Yeah.
So you're somewhat closer to the YouTube content creator, video creator end, but then you're at the company helping those people, right?
Right.
Is there kind of an overlap there where you have like someone who's
it's a good question. I don't think so, because I think eventually, as you said, Roku and Amazon Fire TV reached to a few hundred of millions of users, a few hundred households. And interesting data is, according to Amazon, or at least Amazon Fire TV, they're saying that the overlapping between people with Roku and Amazon Fire TV is less than 5%, which means you have have exposure for almost the entire US, or at least a major part of it. And for example, YouTube creator can have his own YouTube channel. That doesn't mean he cannot have a dedicated CTV channels for his content. It's just another way to reach the audience.
Right. Because I've seen some YouTube creators who, like Mike Chen, who does food travel reviews, and then he did some Netflix shows. There have been some, generally it can be tougher to cross over, but there's certainly certain content where children's animation, those kind of things can be huge. I have two younger, my daughter is in grade 9, 14, and she watches a certain YouTube animation, like hand-drawn animation type things on YouTube as well as on Netflix. So there's this overlap where the kids are looking at all this kind of content. Right. Go ahead.
Of course, the YouTube is the major, is one of the major way to consume content. But eventually there are a lot of other consumers that that explore other ways.
Right. Because if I'm looking on my TV, like you're talking about, then it's a Samsung or an LG and stuff like that, and then you'll present. Okay, you can look at YouTube, you can look at Roku, you can look at Apple TV, all these things are there, all these larger, the platform selection, and then the channels on the platform, and you can cross back and forth and watch all that content. So you're available on many of those platforms and growing. So how do you see yourself, the company, changing over the next few years?
I would say we changing. I think we keep on creating more and more content. I think right now, if we until now we were focusing on the, I would say, the quantity, right? We created a few tens of channels, and we trying to establish ourselves as a mid-level player or mid-level publisher. We have a lot of inventory. Right now, I think on the next couple of years, we're gonna focus on few dedicated channels that we probably put more effort and spend more even money, time, and attention to create if, let's say, a few single very more deep level channels than the quantity. So I think right now the next couple of years, we're gonna focus more on dedicated channels. If it's directed to kids, if it's more TV shows or stuff like that, like more maybe our own production, small ones, but more and more dedicated channels than just the quantity.
And how do you what's the model in terms of like you select a creator who a production studio or something like that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, we choose the approach to be more active on the selection side. There are a few companies that just put your services and people can just like self-serve and offer and just log into their website. We have a pretty active business development division that that approach company from other platforms. That's just not necessarily CTV, even if it's the App Store, Android Store. We see quality content, and we just provide them with the offering on take their content to the CTV, which for them is just another platform with 10 or 100 millions of users that can be that basically can watch their content, and this is our offering, and we're also active. Like a lot of company offer the services. I'm just going to create you an app, and then it's on you to manage. We want to find partners, so we basically partner with them, and we give them services from A to Z. We create their own CTV channels, and then we also help them with the user attribution, user acquisition, with all of that, who's creating, and we not just give them as a one step of the process. This is the solution, and now you're on yourself. Just figure it out. We basically find partners that we can partner with, and the partners that we look for is the ones that they have the content. They have the content on App Store and Android Store. We just give them a way and to also promote themselves on CTV together with us.
So someone who has a educational videos or something like that on YouTube, that they're big, and they're saying, okay, just like I'm making a podcast or whatever, I can say, here's another communication way to leverage my content, so I make the same thing, and now I get it to other viewers, and that kind of situation.
Exactly. And when you think about it, this is another way for them. Same as they have mobile, they have YouTube, they have different type of ways, and we just give them another one.
And what's the is there a certain size that works better, like someone who needs to have most of the
I think of course the more familiar you are, I guess, is probably more for your own benefit. But I think right now, especially on the free content, I think the users are less forgiving for awareness. Like if you have a quality content, I think it can differentiate you than other content. Like as long as it's quantity, the brand is relevant, but it's not that relevant, for example, as an app store. For example, in app store, you're probably not going to download an app that you don't know the name or didn't hear on, or stuff like that. But on CTV, if you see quality content, I think you can attract decent amount of users if you provide a quality content.
So it's still kind of long tail, though, right? Because Netflix is making all the spending tons of money, billions of dollars, making the big shows, trying to get hits. But then if you can get beyond the top 200 like that, you're getting a lot.
But also think that the big ones, as you said, it's true. We focus more on the long tail content consumptions. But when you think about also all the big ones, at least for right now, I mean, the market is changing, or trying to change this, work on a subscription model. But when you think about it, for you as a household, you cannot subscribe to all of the VOD services out there, right? Eventually, it's expensive.
Right.
So Netflix is 15, Hulu is that, this one is that. So right now they're exploring the light version, the ad-based, but still, it's still costable. And also when you try to consume free content or ad-based content, and then you probably go and search or explore the store itself. And this is where we're trying to catch the users.
Right.
To find the free content, ad-based.
But if you can
quality.
make that offering strong enough, be able to target users' tastes, then just like YouTube grows up with this army of many things and get stronger content up there, you can also do the same kind of thing on these other platforms to enable a stronger free / ad supported system.
Right.
And so how do you float up your content then? So because it has to get noticed, right?
Correct. So, we try different ways of collaboration. I mean, for user distribution. So we basically, also you spend a lot of time. The platform also offer you user acquisition, same as you do in mobile. And they provide you with ad manager activity that you try to buy user for your content. And also you try to to bring users from other platforms such Facebook, social, Instagram, to consume your content on CTV, because eventually, if you think about it, most of the user in the US have CTV device, one or another. So what you have, for example, content is cross-platform, and you're trying to find them on Instagram or on social. So this is also a way you can bring users to your content. We try to advertise on different, or in the same on the platform itself. For example, for kid contents, we explore. We advertise it on Roku or on Amazon Fire TV for the specific channels. But also, you try to bring users from different platforms.
Okay. So you're also distributing the content, like work with a partner who's successful on one thing, and then try and get them to spread out to other platforms.
Exactly. Because eventually, it's costing nothing, basically, because as you said, you have the videos already, you have all the content already. And we basically create all the infrastructure, create his own channels, make it like very, very high-ended. And he just receive another way to promote itself.
So do you help them to improve the quality of things? You notice, hey, there's some metrics around there. You can see that there's some issues that they need to,
Right. We do. Initially, we just provide them with the infrastructure and help them to acquire users to their content on the CTV. And after that, of course, we can bring them also insight on session times and retention. And if you can change that, if you can change, and this more content is more relevant, and we see more and more user behavior that's more relevant to that. And so we try to help them improve their content, because eventually, as a content creator, doesn't mean what you do. You can be an influencer, you can be a cooking, you can do whatever you want. You have enormous amount of content eventually, right? Hours or thousands of hours, and then we try to optimize the right content that can bring the best retention rate, the best user engagement, and all of that in order to make the channel as successful as possible.
And that's where the AI is in there to help with the optimization, to analyze the metrics, as well as to improve the ad performance, so that they generate more money. So the more money they make, the more efficient you can make them, then the more they have the ability to grow.
Right.
How many partners and stuff do you have now, and how many do you see yourself having at the end of the year and next year?
But right now we have a few tens of partners, different partners. I believe by next year I have a few hundred. But as I said, we're trying to get. Also, one way is to gather a few of them to one successful channel. But we believe, for example, YouTube, the strength of YouTube, that together a lot of content creators, and the user have like infinite amount of different content. But if you separate them, I'm not talking about the big one, right? I'm talking about the smaller ones. If you separate for each one, so we also believe that they have a better power as a group than different ones. So basically trying to create like mini channels, like based on a genre, for example. So you can do cooking for different type, or you can do kids content, and you gather few different, like same, so basically you can small platform to promote, but you gather a few of them, and then it's easier for them to attract users. Because one individual doesn't mean it's, I believe that there is a benefit to be a few in one than than few just with with just itself.
So how many like you have to have a channel that has an amount of fresh content, or do you just repurpose content? So if you had a lot of fresh content, like if you got a bunch of aggregate a bunch of content creators who are, say, each making an hour, 5 hours a week of content. If you were to get them, like 10 of them together, then you have like a full 50 hours. You can have full prime time of content, right? So is that the kind of critical threshold to have? Or is it?
Yeah, of course, the more content you can provide, I believe it's performed better. But eventually, when I think about they creating the content anyway, right? We're not changing anything on the day-to-day. We're just creating their content in different platforms that they're performing. If it's YouTube, Twitch, or whatever, Instagram, and we just give them another platform to present those content. So just give them another, yeah.
So how is the free and the ad supported on Roku and like, because they have some big like paid channels right there where people sign up and pay big amounts. What's the split between the larger subscription thing versus the ad?
I mean, in Roku in general, or
Roku, whichever one they have the data on, the Samsung, the LG, the overall industry.
I mean, eventually, the Roku, I believe, that provide a lot of free content. Like, they try also to promote the Roku channels, which is ad-based. And they put a lot of effort to create a much more quality content for basically it's ad-free, it's ad-supported. But also I believe, you see the numbers, right? Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, they have the bigger amount of users. But I believe that the market is changing. Also, them understand it and trying to provide light versions, to be more supported, because they understand that people want to consume content, but eventually the competition is just too heavy. And I think the market is going to shift it to much more ad support content than subscriptions. And we see it right now with light version. Maybe someday it's going to be free version with just ad support. And we see it's going to be interesting to see how the market is going to look like in 5 years from now. If the subscription model is still going to stay here, it's here to stay, or it's just going to be, ad free and ad support, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Would it be something like a big market here was the nighttime selling thing, right? But maybe less sleazy, because they had the shopping network, right? They had a lot of free content. So if you have this kind of like, and a lot of creators here, they get sponsorships and that kind of stuff. So you have ads, you have sponsorships. So then you have the shopping thing. So if you have something where that's more highly monetizable, right? That kind of travels or consumer electronics show kind of thing, then that expedition then is something, if it was useful to the customer. So okay, the kids or the mother and the parents are looking at needing products, because that's a proven segment of it, which is highly a targeted form of advertising. And that I don't think I've seen that as much on the TV, right?
Right, because eventually also they see like a market changing from linear TV, which you just watch like shopping, like midnight shopping, or you just watch the shopping channels, which is and to more on demand, like when you want to watch like the shopping channels or stuff like that. So I think also advertisers and they're still trying to find the right fit how to create, for example, sponsored content on shopping, for example, right? Maybe you have, so I think it's still be determined how it's going to look like in the near future, because like you see the more of the cable company or the cord cutters, even you see it's changing to more on demand. But when I want to watch this content, when I want to watch this this shopping experience, when I want to shop, when I want to see what I want to shop, like when I'm in a shopping mode and I want to go to my VOD shopping channels and explore it like Netflix style, right? Not like whatever it's presenting right now. This is what I watch, like what more interesting me. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how they attack it from that way. Because eventually everybody wants to be on the TV. It's the biggest screen, every house have it. Spend a lot of time in it. It's like the center of the house. So it's going to be interesting to see the the changing between linear TV and what we used to have. I mean, your generation, my generation, to the what's going to be look like in a few years.
What's the duration of the videos and the stuff on the shows? Is it like the short form TikTok type things? Is that something that's happening where you need to like serve up a series of things, or is it more
Yeah,
long?
it's more long. It's more long form. Yeah, it's like it's not like TikTok experience. They have like the TikTok is more like lean forward experience, right? You scroll it up, down, and you do it this way. And CTV is more laid back content, right? You lay back on your couch, on your chair, or whatever, and just watch content. So I think it's not like more TikTok is more mobile friendly, like lean forward, where when you see it on a drive or between meetings and on the office or with your home, and CTV is more laid back. When you want to watch long form, if it can be short, but not short as TikTok.
Okay, and so you, what do you think in terms of technology, in terms of AI? Like, how will that? Because there's now some things like DALL-E and the Facebook thing.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
it's
that's
gonna be very.
We
as a company explore it, to help us, DALL-E 2 and all of that, to explore us to create more content, by machine or by AI. So it's going to be interesting. So yeah, it's not there yet for us, unfortunately, to create to create everything on DALL-E. But I believe in a few years it's going to be a great way to create content.
For things like where it could enhance content, where basically like a better thumbnail, a better intro, extra kind of thing, that you could get, kind of like the computer animation thing, where it's like you're not necessarily doing. It doesn't have to be all computer animated, but segments of it could be, and it could be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Especially on time. Eventually, when you see when the users scroll or explore the store, right, it's gonna be interesting to see what catches eyes better, right? Which thumbnails or which intro. So it's gonna be like, yeah, I believe there'll be an AI level to optimize that, especially when the competition is just get better and better.
Are you looking at any kind of like live event things, like sports or entertainment, that kind of stuff? Because there's a lot of things that aren't fully captured. There's things that you participate in that you have a niche. Dragon boat racing, right, is something that's highly entertaining. A lot of people participate in it. Hundreds of races around North America, Asia, and all that kind of stuff. And you have tens of thousands of people going to these events. So, but it's not something that's got onto media, right? So that these things that people do and participate in, which are not media covered, right? But it's a large segment of things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that kind of thing of like unearthing these kind of niches where it's like it's not already sponsored, something that could be
we had a few months ago, we had a conversation with a festival. They're trying to have live events on CTV, and it's interesting, and you can still take it and you watch the event or the concert live on your TV, and so we're exploring that. I believe we'll probably see it more and more and more. If it's concert, if it's racing, or if it's something that people just want to consume, but instead of go there and pay ticket live, you can just pay ticket online and watch it live on TV and reach to more audience. I believe you're going to be there. The barrier is, just, it's sometimes, the licensing, it's pretty expensive. At least for the big ones, it's pretty expensive. But I believe it's going to be there, and you probably have like, a live app, something like that. You can buy tickets, same as you buy for concert or something. You're just going to have a live app. You can buy ticket, you can watch it on these days, the end of the week, and you probably have like, you can even sit on your home and watch live concert, like, twice a evening or once a week, and it's just going to change of the way people or go to live events or just watch more live events, because you can buy ticket half price from home, and just watch it for your TV.
Or an event that you wouldn't be able to travel to, like I'm in America.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a K-pop fan or something like that, or something else. That
exactly. You watch K-pop concert from your home in the US. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So it's a very interesting work that you're doing. Is there other things you want to discuss about this, or?
I think we're an interesting point in time. When TV, we see the CTV market as what mobile been like a couple of years ago, or even 5-6 years ago, when people don't really understand the full potential of it. And right now it's like it's so crazy how people use it. And I believe the US people more engage or more understand that you can consume more content on TV. I think the rest of the world, we still need to learn it. And it's interesting to see how the market penetration will be, because eventually I believe this is going to be how the market is going to be, and I think we're right now in very interesting point of time, and how the market's going to shape. How the big ones, Netflix, Hulu, all of those ones, Disney Plus, how those streaming services going to adjust, subscription, ad-based. Also the advertisers, how they're going to accept it, because eventually they all want to go back to the TV, right? TV for them is the holy grail, like to present on TV. Also the attribution is going to be much more focused on CTV, because which content is watching, which episode, it's much more focused on or dedicated in linear TV. So I think the market is very interesting to see how it's going to be shaped in the next 5 to 10 years. And TV, it's back to a prime, I believe. If say people TV, it's all, everything is tablets, phones, and all of that. I think TV is back to its prime days. So yeah, it's gonna be the center of the house again, and with a much more advanced and personalized content.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for taking time.
Thank you for your time. It was very enjoyable.
Okay. Hopefully, when new things happen, you get to some new technology launch or some new channel launch, we can talk again.
I'd be happy to. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care. Take care. Bye. Bye.